must unite what has been set asunder.
We are TFR. Truth Frequency Radio.
When you finally boil it all down, magic is imagination. We are moving into an age of manifestation. Things become actually less material, more ethereal. The golden dawn is when we awaken to this new station of life. What you think becomes real quicker. Regain our imagination, regain our inner child, and let that inner child out.
My name is Frank Castle, founding member of the music group Heist Click and New York City Neo Shaman. After a serious injury sidelined my career in 2013, I decided to set out on an adventure to search for myself with the help of the plant medicine ayahuasca. What I discovered waiting for me was something I could have never prepared for. It was time for me to become something more, someone more. It was time I became fearless. Shine as my heart beats a rhythm with space and time. When the light starts to shine inside your third eye, you awake to the knowledge that you never die. What is up, everyone? Jermaine Man, Frank Castle, your sorcerer supreme, right here each and every Saturday night on Truth Frequency Radio. This is Fearless, and I am joined by my etherical translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
I'm glad you guys heard me off air, a little bit behind the scenes of how I just hear some stuff about people, like the politicians involved and everything. I'm like, listen, you got to stop with these political names. And, senator. No, you're a piece of trash. You need to step down before I yank you down by your face and drag you into the street and we throw rotten lettuce at your face. And then they could haul you off in a truck back to your home. Because that's what they are pretty much. That's what we're dealing with here on that level. So before we start, and I get any further into anything, shout outs to Chris and Cherie.
Oh, of course.
Excuse me. It's Saturday night, and I'm super excited. Couple things happen. So Mercury Retrograde is happening, and it's beating the crap out of me. It's beating me, but it's not beating me. I'm finding ways to release and have a new strategy since we've been through this before, right?
Yep.
It's almost like it's just another level or another cycle that we're going through again. This time, more awareness, right? You have more awareness than the last time. So does it drag you down, or you just let it, you're going to submit to it and let it pull it out of you and just get rid of it?
Oh, I have to submit to it because I don't want it. I want it to leave. Whatever I don't need, I want removed. I want to purge it. I want to have it expelled. I want it gone because you can't take it with you. And I don't want to carry it.
Yeah, who wants that garbage?
No, none of it.
I see magic happening everywhere. Speaking of magic, Holly, what's up? I hear you having fun catching the live show tonight. You're in the chat room. Holly's an artist over at I Am We Are Fearless, and she's also an artist because she's just an artist, and she's really awesome, and you should check her out. She should post a few of her links so people know where to find her, and then naturally, we're always posting stuff in the Fearless group. Shout outs to Fearless family. What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Chris and Cherie, without you guys, we wouldn't be here doing this like this. I had a couple of hour conversation with Chris today.
Yeah, I saw that when I came in. You were talking.
My iPad was on 100%.
Oh, the battery.
I had to plug it in because it said 2%, and I realized how long we were just talking away. It was excellent.
Well, that's nice though to catch up.
There's so many interesting things happening, and it's all coming online.
Mm-hmm.
I think the awareness is busting through the retrograde and the this, that, and the other thing. And all right, so it's either been there the whole time, right, or we're just not aware of it till now.
What?
Or now we're so aware of it. And then there's more awareness, so now it's being put everywhere even more. So it's like compacting and compiling on. I'm going to get to a point because I have notes.
Oh, okay.
We watch a show.
Okay.
That I think everybody should check out. episode, I think it's 4 of Doom Patrol.
That's on.
It's on the DC network, but I'm sure you guys could find it, and it will be on Netflix. So,
when the season's over.
Yeah, the season's it's only a couple of episodes.
Oh, that's good.
But it's kind of like Hellboyish, right? So it's like a team of people that are misfits. They all live under the one roof together, like the X-Men.
Right, and
but they're really
the doctor has helped each of them individually.
Right.
The man who runs the home where they live.
Yeah. He's like a Professor X character.
Yes.
He's even in a wheelchair.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, isn't it weird? Like
no, is he?
Yeah.
I can't.
Well, he's
say
not
anything.
bald.
No, I was going to say he's been missing. We don't know where.
No.
Yeah, okay. We're not going to say
let
anything.
people know. I don't want to spoil the show. Last week when we watched it, and I'm bringing this up specifically because we've been talking about this. It's in the Gnosis, so.
Oh yeah, we've been talking about how there's a lot of truth in what we watch in television
and comic books, and last week we talked about some of the shows
and why, like last week we talked about selling the story to Steven Spielberg for Close Encounters, because there was supposed to be a documentary. The government decided at the very last minute not to give them the footage that they needed to validate the documentary. So the story was stalled. Names, places, and times were changed. Locations were changed.
Yes.
But the story got out. So, you watch these stories, you watch these movies and these, cartoons, and you read comic books, and the disclosure is right there. It's all right in front of you.
The whole time. But now.
So now we've been noticing this more and more.
And the more we discuss it, the more I'm seeing it now. It's kind of like when you get a car and you're like, well, I'm going to get this car. And then you start seeing it everywhere, and you notice that a lot more people have that car than you do. So during the show, there's a cult raising a kid who they're writing a book on his skin, right?
Oh, yeah.
So the parents are raising this kid because they're telling him he's going to save the world. So we're like, oh, this is pretty interesting.
Yeah, and they isolated him. He had no friends.
They
isolated him from the world.
Yeah, it was like they were just raising and you could tell it was weird. You're like, oh, what's happening here? And something happens with the parents, and it comes to the day that he's waiting to save the world, and
it was a big reveal.
It was a big reveal, right? And the kid has to bolt. He's like, yo, I'm out of here. So they're like, they keep calling him the book. So you're like, what is this book? Well, the book, if you read from it, opens a portal, right, to a dimension, apparently, right, like an area. So to prevent the book from being read at a date and time specific to open this portal, right, because it's a time, date, specific location, right, for everything to work in the ritual, right? It's still magic and stuff, right? So they send 2 of the guys from the Doom Patrol through a rip because it's starting to already bleed out, like as if this portal's going to open. So they had what do they call it when the person has stigmata? That's what it is. So the root of the problem, the guy's like, it's not a doorway specific. It's this guy with a stigmata and they have to sew his hand shut or it's going to open the portal.
Right. So
they send the 2 people in, and who are they confronted by? As soon as they go through, they're like walking around in an area. Do you remember? They were in front of like the king and queen thing. They say, we are the...
the Archons.
Yeah, we are the Archons.
Yeah.
Right in your face. And they say, we are... He goes, you look like the parents of the kid. And they go, we're ascended. We did our purpose, our job. So we ascended into these positions. And you can see that it almost looked like the playboard, right?
The chessboard.
The chessboard area, like the game. Like you can see how it's playing out. And they were terrible. There's a situation that happens. So when you're viewing them, you're like, whoa, this is pretty rough to look at. So to get there, to open that portal, they're like, how do we do this? Right? So they bring some John Constantine wannabe character, right? And what does he say? We'll go talk to Baphomet.
Yeah.
Right? So then, so they open a portal to Baphomet, and it's a blue horse head that comes out singing, and it's singing about what they asked about.
Yes.
And it's the horse from the Denver airport, the big blue.
Pale Rider.
Behold the pale horse. The big
pale horse. Yeah.
Chris was just talking about this big blue horse. He took me there when I was in Denver with him at the airport. He took me, pulled the car over in this area, and we just walked over to it. And I have pictures with it and everything. And I'm like, damn, this thing is huge. Why the big blue horse? Well, in the show, it's Baphomet. And Baphomet sings you this weird song. So it's like this cartoony character, Horsehead, giving you direction of evil on evil. All right, wait, it gets crazier. It's like, what happens if they read this book out loud? What happens?
The end of the world.
Well, not only the end of the world, but what happens? Right? The sky cracks open and what comes out of it?
Oh, yeah, that's right. I fell asleep.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to.
I was half in and out of sleep on the couch. I'm sorry.
My bad. So they were explaining that a giant eye will come out of the sky.
Yes. Right?
like
That's right.
Sauron.
Yes.
And will now.
Yes,
be in
like
charge,
Sauron from Lord of the Rings.
And
yes.
they call it the deconstructor.
Yes.
And it will deconstruct your reality now.
Deconstruct your reality. Now, to me, that makes me think everything that I believe, I will not believe.
It's going to come in and throw the monkey wrench into the machine and
Yes.
start working the program backwards.
Yes.
So it eats itself. It's exactly what the dark does anyway. So, so intense. It was all packed. There's so much more packed into this one episode.
Oh yeah, it's like
frightening.
Little pieces of everything that we talk about sprinkled into a television show. And
the canceled John Constantine show, right?
Oh yeah, they canceled
we
his
watched
show.
the whole season, and how fantastic was it? But it's everything you and I do.
It was like when we saw that series because we watched that after it was on because it was only a couple of episodes were on, yeah, and then
they canceled it. We watched the whole season. They just gave it away.
on the app, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
I think it's on the CW app or something.
It's very
or on the DC app.
The things that he does is very true to what really happens in real life.
It's like legit what you are going through as you're rising in your ascension.
And it was scary to see because it was very accurate. Yes,
like ridiculous.
Very accurate.
Down to what we discuss. Like we'd be sitting and discussing something, and then it's on the show.
And then they cancel the show.
And we're like, what? Oh, here's the thing. There's an outcry that people love Matt Ryan, the guy that plays him.
Yeah.
They're giving him his own series.
I liked the show. I thought it was a good show because it was relative to what we
What did we say,
talk
though?
about.
You can't let a kid watch that. It was a dark.
No, it's for an older audience, definitely. It's not a kid's show. But it was just
the content
eerie,
was unbelievable. And when you get 12 episodes and it fleshes it out, we're never interested. There's always like down episodes where you're like, oh, this is garbage, whatever. This was every single one was like breaking a piece of the pie off and understanding that piece. Because
there's a little bit of truth sprinkled into it. You know, and it depends on
the guy that's all messed up and he can't get. He feels like he has to resave his soul because if he dies, he goes to hell. Right, that's his kind of thing. So he's trying because a girl was taken to hell, and he felt like that was his fault, and all kinds of weird stuff happened. So he's on this path of redemption, which he doesn't believe could happen, just like all of us that are on this path and journey. Right, learning the magic as he goes. Right, and then
that's it. You're learning as you go. That's it. That's the whole thing right there.
You know, your first demon confronted, oh, we heard of you. We heard of you here. And you're like, what? And then he's like, grows into Constantine.
Right.
You know, it's not just he's smashing everyone over the head. Like they really dig into the different things. And they cover everything from cryptozoology because they had all the different creatures. We were like,
oh, absolutely, yeah.
Wow. Shape-shifting lizards to the whole thing. Demons and ghosts and paranormal and psychic experiences all wrapped into this blood ritual.
Well, the previous episode
chasing him
of the Doom Patrol show, they showed a reptilian in the episode.
Yes.
So it's almost like they're just trying to make us more and more comfortable with the idea. And, you know, if that's what they think they have to do, that's fine.
I think it's a requirement at this point. because like it's always been in the consciousness, like floating around, like you were saying. They made Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Now, there's been a million movies since that movie. What movies really hold up that are movies that are that good, right? Go ahead. Begin. Close Encounters of the Third Kind. No, it was just awesome, right? Because you felt the reality behind it. After that, you get stuff like Star Wars, right? Or you get incidents that are told to you.
Yeah, but it's all relevant.
That's specifically there.
Yes.
And allowed to hit you the way it hits you because it's the reality factor. They twist and turn a few little details, but it's the true thing. That's why people still go, Close Encounters. That's why they still do it.
That's how I feel about Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Jaws is still one of the scariest movies I've ever seen. It just is.
See, people never understand unless you're from that time period.
Yeah.
The 70s, and Jaws came out. People were losing their... We were down in the Jersey Shore.
Because it was the idea of what was going to happen.
Everyone was sitting on the beach.
Right. Because it was the idea of what was going to happen. They didn't show you blood and gore. It was the idea it was coming. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to get stuck on Jaws. But, to the chat room folks, you can type as much as you want. You can correspond with each other. That's fine. You're not interrupting us at all. Say what you want to say. Write what you want to write. And, if you have a question, we can address it after the show.
Or
so
during,
say whatever you want to say, because there's some people that are worried about typing too much in the chat room. I don't want them to feel like that.
Don't worry about it. No, just go nuts.
Yeah.
Everybody enjoy yourselves. So, they put certain things out there like Star Wars. Why do people like Star Wars? And then what's the other one? Well, if you don't like Star Wars, most likely you'll like Star Trek, right? You'll flow to one or the other. Both are real.
It's all real. It's all real.
One's the time before we became what we are now, right? And the other one is what we're headed to and becoming, which is already existing.
Because it's
first
always
of all,
now.
It's always now. So this is always
someone
happening.
put up a John Constantine.
Yeah. Well, Constantine, the fact that they're using him as a superhero. Okay, here's the thing. He was on Legends, right? We watch Legends. All right,
yes.
let's not. I just want to. The girl on the show that wears the amulet, right? The white chick. Everybody's like, who's the white girl running around helping people on the show, right? We know who the black girl is the girl from Africa. She touches the charm. She becomes the... Okay, what does the white girl do with the amulet? What's her name? She has a regular name, right?
I think she's Middle Eastern.
No, I'm going to get to a point. That's ISIS.
Yeah, but they're afraid to use the name because it's a derogatory.
They're using a character from the comics, old character from the Shazam comics, Goddess Isis.
You remember the TV show?
I know. It's on the DC app now. Yeah, they have the Shazam show. You can watch this.
It came on before or after the Greatest American Hero.
It was either 76 to 78 or 74 to 76. So, okay, so why would you bring her on the show? You have a million superheroes to pick from. A million, right? Why would you pick that guy, Constantine, and then the goddess, the girl that transforms into Goddess Isis? And on the show, all they make her do is touch an amulet and throw wind at people, and she knows stuff because she gets caught in time loops and fights time demons. And we watch it and we're like, what is going on here? Right? They fight with the one character and they had to join and become Bebo, right? But that was like their Voltron. And it was like we had to take all of our emotions and colors and put them all together, get them all lined up and working perfectly, and then they just smack the demon down. But they're like, what is that? Well, it's an interdimensional time demon that we opened a rift in time and let that thing out, and this guy's trying to put it in his daughter, and you're like, what? And he's been doing rituals since the 1950s and jumping back through time with Nazis, and you're like, what? And then you put John Constantine in with the superheroes. And you're like, why is this? Where's Superman and Batman and Robin? Why are they not punching and swinging from vines?
Right.
Why is it so specific to this stuff? Because they have to put it in there. I feel like
it's a little, yeah.
They have to put it.
A little bit of disclosure.
Right. So they're like, look, we can't call her ISIS. And then they blame the terrorist organization, ISIS, for not being able to call her the Goddess Isis. We talked about this in episode 1, that they get you to hate the name ISIS right? Which actually just means, of love. That's really all it means, right? Like it's the energy of love. And that's what it was like the swastika, it was taken over and then became something different. So they took the name and put it to a terrorist organization, because I always wondered, why are you calling them ISIS, right? And then they try to change it to ISIL and all kinds of stupid stuff. I'm like, why are you doing that? And then under Aya, she showed me, look, you're here. And I was like, oh, look, it's ISIS love. It was just emanating. I can't do this. You need to do this for me, my warriors. As you, the creator, project hate ISIS.
Yes.
You're like.
You're equating hate with the name.
And it's.
So every time you
love.
think it or say it, you're giving off hate.
Exactly.
You're feeling hate. You're not giving it off. You're feeling hate.
And you're putting out like.
Or fear.
And
you're
it's
feeling
like
fear.
disconnecting you
Yes.
from that energy source, which you don't understand yet because you're not. None of us were physically. I had no freaking clue what was going on. So I was just like, you're going to have to show me and explain it. And that's exactly what happened. And now watching this occur. So on the show, once again, we've talked about this. They drink ayahuasca on the spaceship, sitting in a hyper time dimensional place where they could just sit, and it's like no time, it's like a pocket dimension. They could just sit their craft in, and then from there pick where they want to go and jump into that wormhole thing. They're like, you see them like sitting in that sometimes, that energy, and then they're on the ship, and the girl from Africa is like, oh, we're gonna drink the sacred herb tonight. And then the guy's like, ayahuasca. Oh, yes, psychedelics. And the retarded white guy, sorry about the retarded thing, but he like rolls up and he's like, I'll drink with you. And then he goes on the ultimate psychic experience and has to fly the spaceship and winds up doing it with his mind. Remember, he had to fly through the impossible situation. He's like, don't worry, guys, I got this. And they're like, dude, how are you flying the ship? And he's like, I got this. And then on the other side, his higher self was just running the ship. And he was just smiling when they showed you what he was really doing. He was just staring ahead like, pressing buttons. And the higher guy was like, hitting everything. So you're like, holy look, what's going on here? Right? And then the girl actually went on the Black Panther mission, which it's in the Black Panther movie. He eats the sacred herb or drinks.
Yeah, make a tea out of it.
And who does he go see? That's one of our favorite movies. For sure.
He goes sees
Goddess Best. Yeah. The Panther Goddess. It's in, and then what does she do? She endows him with the power of the Black Panthers that were there before him, blah, 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 and on and on. Nature becomes your partner. So you're basically superheroes or shaman. Stories told of, shit. It's even Santa Claus's story, right? Even, right? Like take away all the nonsense they added to it. He's just supposed to be bringing you mushrooms every day.
Mushrooms, yeah.
It's not, has nothing to do with gifts and presents. That guy's job was to cultivate mushrooms, and just like you would cultivate a tomato, you'd make the tomatoes, and this guy makes this. This dude worked with this stuff, and they all knew what it did. And he'd come and hang the stockings, and he comes in through the roof because the snow was high, so they had doors on the roofs, right? So when you equate this with Krampus and all this other stuff, I go, man, that's all lore, right? The LOR, like that's just all nonsense. I mean, I went on the other side. I'm like, all right.
It's not nonsense.
It's put out there for storytelling, and I'm sorry for calling it nonsense.
Yeah, because I just
mean it's not what is necessary to waste your mental time on unless you realize it's just a story, and that's cool. But those things are put in there as layers of defense against you finding the original truth.
The real truth, yeah.
People play telephone. By the time it gets to you, it becomes this ridiculousness. You've already lost 16 wars by the time it gets to this point in time, and everything's being rewritten all that time.
But that's what every argument is about, miscommunication. I mean, from the smallest to the largest, it's to the largest argument. It's miscommunication. Frank and I started putting the closed captioning on the TV. And I hate to say it because we feel old, but, reading the word and hearing what you think you hear are two different things. So a lot of what happens, a lot of the drama that's caused is miscommunication.
It's all miscommunication.
We do it too. Like if you're in the kitchen, if I'm in the kitchen, I can't hear what you're saying. I think you said something completely different. and you didn't.
No,
but,
absolutely.
But that's what I heard. So, I mean,
Chris and I's conversation had a section of the conversation was specifically about knowing there's miscommunication occurring, so not be part of that communication cycle.
It's like, yes.
At that moment,
yes.
you just back off and
absolutely.
Shut down. You're like, wow, I'm out.
Absolutely.
And you can't get mad at it. And then when now it's later and we look back and we're laughing going, it's almost like we both knew that bullshit was happening. So we just backed up because we're exactly at the same spot, saying we're in the same frame of mind going forward. And what is the one problem? Our language. So you'll say it's tomato means this, and it also means a little bit of this. And someone will say, well, I'm saying lettuce means that. Right. So it's just everybody's thrown off by this. And now with retrograde, it makes it even more difficult. It's almost like people can't understand or communicate.
I feel like I'm standing in sand. It's horrible. Like today, I had to. I was with my sister and her friends. It was another girls. We do it once a month. It's a girls' night, a ladies' night. When there's no girls there, ladies' night, and I had to cook a dish that I cooked a couple of weeks ago, and it came out great. Oh, we're gonna lose it. I cooked it today. I don't know what happened. And
I watched you cook, and I'll tell you what happened. It's how you do it. You did it where your heart was. Not that it wasn't all there.
No, something was off.
There was some static going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of static.
Retrograde.
I had a very hard time. I never.
Back. We talked about the midnight brought home yesterday.
Oh yeah, we'll cover that.
Yeah, we threw. Love you guys. This is Fearless. We are fearless.com. Check it out.
No hate, no hype, no fear.
You're listening to Truth Frequency Radio.
We are TFR.
Am I awake or is this a dream? A fantasy where I'd rather be. So come and talk with me. Come and walk with me. Is this a wake-up call from my reality? Have you seen my friends? Have you seen my girl? Wake me up from this. I'm trapped in this world.
My name is Frank Castle, and we are live, and this is Fearless. I'm here with my ethereal translator, Paula Milo.
Hey, everyone.
Don't forget to go to IamWeAreFearless.com. IamWeAreFearless.com. Go check out IamWeAreFearless.com. I think you'll like it.
Buy a t-shirt.
There's quite a lot of stuff there. Go check it out. I'm not. We don't have enough time to. So Holly mentioned Fringe as well.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember when we watched that?
Yeah, we watched it together for the first time. I watched the whole season with my mouth, the whole first season with my mouth open.
You know,
because I couldn't believe it.
We were making jokes the other day about, you wake up and you think like no one else has ever been woke. Right? Like I'm the first to see this and understand it, and you realize it's been in books and been talked about for a bazillion years.
You know what I think it is? I think you wake up and you're like, oh my God, it's all real. And you have to process that. And depending on how you decide to process that, like...
Shout outs to Ra. Ra, watch it. It's awesome.
It's just...
It'll blow your mind because you're like, what? And Ra, I guarantee you, as you were living through what you were living through, that's when the episodes are coming out. There's some kind of relation and correlation because we watched it and I'm like, we just went through all this. We literally went through this.
I agree.
I there's just some things that are, and then you wake up and you kind of say to yourself, what do I do now? And what's happening next? And nobody else knows. It's kind of, you have that Roddy Piper moment in They Live when he has the glasses and he's trying to tell his friend. And it's really not, for as intense as that might be and crazy, then you wake up and you get into this position, you realize there's a lot more. This has been talked about for a long time. It's just that you break through. You're going through your process of ascension within you, or awareness, your process of awareness expansion.
Yeah, and it's a very private experience.
Yeah, I can't make you experience it.
You can either go and run in the streets and say, everyone's got to know this, and then people look at you like you're crazy. or you learn to digest the information that you're given a little bit at a time and keep your mind open to the possibilities.
See,
and then
find
find like-minded people. Yeah, I am. I am very
Whereas
quiet.
I'm way more public.
Yeah.
But yet here we are on a radio show.
I know.
And discussing it from both angles, and it's pretty interesting. You get too wrapped up in being not talking to anyone about it. It could be dangerous, and too wrapped into actually telling people and trying to do for others immediately is also will get you in trouble.
Oh yeah,
in one way or another.
Yeah, you know that's why we need to find like-minded people and.
Chris said my favorite thing,
like safe spaces.
Like recently, he said, everybody's flipping the coin, going heads or tails. But you don't realize that the coin actually has three sides, right? It's got to land on the perfectly balanced on the edge so it could teeter to whatever side you need it to and go right back. And I'm like, yeah, man, that's exactly it.
But that's what we do.
But that's been there the whole time. How come that profound statement has never been made? He goes, whether it's been made or not, you're aware of it now.
But that's what we do with life. It's either this or that. And it's not. It's infinite. It's endless possibilities. But we don't know. We don't allow ourselves to think that's the way it is. We don't allow it.
Why though?
Programming.
Where's that programming coming from, Paula?
It's coming from everywhere. It's coming from how you're raised at home, or the lack of parental guidance, or TV, and definitely now everyone has a cell phone. So everyone has the media, everyone has technology at their fingertips. It's not like it was before, where you had to wait till you got home to watch a television show. Okay,
we were around before you could even record it. So
yeah, I mean, you're plugged in all of the time. It's a stimulation all of the time. And it's a lot to work through, and it's a lot to say.
Lots of layers.
It is, but it's also a lot to say, like, none of this matters. None of it matters. Are we going into an ice age, which I think is what's happening, or is it global warming? Does it really matter in your lifetime, in the span of time that you're going to be on this planet? Does it really matter? Do you know, like flat earthers, and is it round? Is it flat? These are all distractions. They're all distractions. Like we say all the time, if you're keeping up with the Kardashians, then you shouldn't even know who we are, because that's the exact opposite of what that's what we're trying to get away from.
That's where we're escaping from.
We're escaping from that nonsense.
We're peeling those layers away. It gets more of when you go down the Kardashian route, it ends in a cartoon of ridiculousness.
And I'm not picking on them. I don't care either way. I don't mean that. But, I mean, like, reptilians. It's just when you remove those layers and you start removing the drama, you realize you create your reality, because Frank and I have been going through this whole thing where we're trying to learn how to say no and stick to it and not feel the repercussions, not feel the guilt. And it's hard. But once you do it, and once you really live the kind of life that you want to live, you really don't have anyone, you don't have to answer to anyone for that. Like you say, what's your line? I will not apologize.
And I don't need your permission. Am I hurting you? Yeah,
yes. Am I hurting you directly?
Yes,
yeah.
Show me.
Prove me. Show me how I'm hurting you.
If the answer is no,
leave me alone. Let me think what I think. Let me feel what I feel.
What is your malfunction? Right? We could still get along and not.
But that's what it's like, a malfunction. Like these people that want to get chipped, like that they're saying they're chipping people. And, if you don't think that once you're chipped, that they can track everything about you. And, if they want to, you're at their mercy, whoever they are that's doing the chipping. Why would you do that? Why would you give someone so much control over you? I wouldn't chip my cat or dog because I don't believe in it. I mean, I would feel I feel terrible if I couldn't find them. But I don't believe in that type of technology. Like I said, I could live in the woods as long as I could pay my bills online. And that's pretty much all I do online. I would live in the woods.
So someone in the room, Heart of the Rebel, said they disagree. They don't believe you can create your own reality. And I'm just going to say this. Some see the glass half full. Some see it as half empty. As a creator being, only you can stop you. I'm letting you know that now, because we're in a position where there's structure and things around us and laws are in place and there's certain gangs and crude, crappy laws and everything. We got ourselves into a bad position. But once you take that path of awareness and start waking up, you see that you create your own reality, or you're not doing enough to do that, because you can change. You could change just about anything. But that also doesn't mean you can't manifest bread if you're poor and starving in Africa. So I think that's kind of those are conditions that are there on the planet at the time, and I understand that those people can't wish and manifest their way out of positions, so that their reality isn't created for is being created for them to keep them in that. But if you're in a situation that you don't like, you can either come from a place of hope, or come from a place of fear. With any situation, being in traffic, okay, you can come from a place of anger and fear, or you can come from a place of hope and know that in the end you will get where you have to go. Yeah, you could be singing and just having a good old time, or you could be screaming and cursing. It's the minutes that you have to live until you get the outcome that you want. Okay, so I can choose to be miserable in these minutes until I get where I need to go, or I can be hopeful that I will get there. And I think that makes the difference in reality. You can live torturous minutes or anxiety-filled minutes, or you can live hopeful minutes. And I'm just talking about one particular thing, being stuck in traffic. This is what I mean by creating. Take it experience by experience. No, but this is what I mean by creating reality. I mean, I'm not saying you can wish your whole world to be. You can wish your whole world away and wake up one morning and it'll be different. I'm saying you take these experiences one at a time and you try to get the best possible outcome. And you make that lead into your future as just one good step in front of the next, 10% a week, like I say. Like, if just give it some maximum effort, and if you hit 10%, you're good. But then the next week, if you hit 10%, now you get 20%. But if you can't give your maximum effort, that's okay too. If you only want to give if you only want to give a little bit of effort to something, then give a little bit of effort to it, or choose not to. You know, there are times, there are days when I just take a whole time out from the world. You know, I didn't leave the house last week for 3 days. I only went outside to feed the cats, and I said, now this has to stop. But I needed a break from reality. I needed a break. And luckily I was able to do that, you know, but when I was working, I couldn't do that. You can't shut the reality off. You can't get away from it. You know, there's so much stimulation. You can't, nothing you do. You can run and you can hide, and there's nothing you can do to get away from it. You just have to know how to quiet your mind and really know how to come from a place of hope. Because it's these minutes that we live, these hours that we live. You know, I talk about it, you know, I've talked about it with a few of our FearLess friends. You know, I mean, it's getting, you know, it's trying to make a change for an hour. And then if you can keep up that change, then try for another hour. And if you can't, then you don't. But if you can, you start from where you are. You start from where you are. You know, like my thing was, because I always hated dieting, but when I was younger, I always dieted, and I'll start on Monday so I can have the weekend to eat anything I want, and then I'll start on Monday. Or maybe we'll start on Friday, or maybe we'll wait till next Tuesday. You start from where you are. So wherever you are, you think about what's in front of you or what's tasked for that day. And then you say, what can I do to make each and every task that I need to get completed today easier for me? And remember, you're both polarities. I see someone in the room, you know, taking a break from positivity. You're absolutely right. Yo, Chris and I were talking about this. We talk about this. So sometimes you got to just like throw a slap on something. Like, it's just going to happen. Like, you cross that line and it has to go down. Is that really negative, or is that positive in the advancement of the situation because that's the only place it could go where it's not going to just take over you and take you.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
right?
I'm
like the baby's in the room. There's 8 snakes. You're going to not go in there and start killing snakes to save the baby? Or are you a dummy? What are you doing? Well, we got to let all animals live. Really? Like that's what. Oh, I'm sorry.
But we do have to let all animals live. But
we do. But we got to save the baby first, right? You gotta,
absolutely. But yes. But why do we have to make that decision? See, that's what I mean. People say it has to be this way or that way. Why do you have to choose? You don't. Think about it. You don't. Why can't they both be saved? There's enough for everybody. There's enough everything for everybody.
System is set up for you to believe that you need to maybe put something down to get a foot up on something, climb the crabs out of the bucket.
That's what most people
like
think.
When you think like we're overpopulated,
yes.
Think of how much land isn't used, and think of how much the roads don't go through those areas to cause relief on all the functions and areas that clog and cause drainage issues when it comes to every artery on the planet, whether it's your energy or it's your car or you're going for a walk or you can't walk here, you can walk there. There's all this open land and this is federally owned and this is owned by China and this is, you're not using anything. When you back up and take a look at that map, that's why I kind of laugh a little bit with flat earthers. I'm like, dudes, your measurements are way off. The place is gigantic. Okay, and there's all these areas that are unused, and they're driving traffic just through these areas on purpose. Right? It's just so that is so you can't escape the matrix. Those are terrible things that are done, but this is why we're here talking about it. We're going to come out of this. We're going to survive this. We're going to do it as a group of people and beings. As humans, we are going to do this. Whether you agree or disagree is on you, but we, the I am we are, will accomplish the task for sure to make this place a better place. We don't need permission. Why? I was born of my mother here. My mother is the planet, right? So metaphorically, but not really because you have to come through. So she says to me, I need you to create, live, and caretake. I need you to be in bliss, but at the same time, you got to, like we talk about the cats, right? If we don't get them fixed, there'll be 300 cats.
Yeah.
Okay? So you have to do what you have to do, right? You have to make those decisions. You got to caretake. An overrunning rat problem not being handled brings disease and problems. So take care of the land. Keep the trees. Don't have too much plastic in the environment. Clean it up. Control your area. Okay, so I don't need permission inside that area to do what I need to do to handle that business. That includes many things, many layers. Specifically, one that happened, what was it, yesterday?
Oh, yeah, and I was surprised.
Okay, so...
Because I'm good at keeping my protection up.
Where did you go?
I had to run to my sister's house to drop off a table for the party today. Mm-hmm. And I came home, and she was crazy. She was trying to get ready for the party, getting the house ready. She took the day off of work so that she could do this. And, it was just one thing after another. She had like the week from hell, of course. And she was telling me about the week. And as she's telling me, I feel the words just sticking to me. And I said, okay, I'll let you continue what you're doing here. I have to leave. And I came home and Frank said, stay right here.
She came in and it was like a machine gun of everything from what's driving her nuts with retrograde, which is just, I use the retrograde as the excuse right now because I'm watching people purge. People in my circles are purging, right? So I'm watching, so now I'm getting hit with it and I'm like, yo, freeze, right? Cling some bells, bust out some sage. Now she's talking and I put on the Ganesh.
Oh yeah, you put on the meditation music, yeah.
Because I'm like, Paula's too strong for this. So but I can't interact with you because you're pissy. That if that's the right word. You're like, you're very matter of fact, and no matter what I said wasn't going to matter, so I'm just letting you go. But I also can't just be hit in the heart with that stuff.
Oh, like, of course not, yeah.
Okay, so See, that's not what you let your partner do. What you do is help out, right? You know when to talk, you know when not to talk, but you know when to put on a meditation low in the background because the sound will affect the whole area. So it starts breaking up around Paula, and I see you in your egg.
Yeah,
your
my
aura.
protection bubble.
So it's not that she's got an attachment. It's like something followed her and has her egg in this weird energy, right? This structure. And I'm like, and you're in the egg like this, making the squishy face, like, and then you're just talking to me, but now you're calming. Right?
Yeah, well, the music calmed me down right away.
Yeah, we started doing our thing.
I wasn't even angry or upset. Like it wasn't, we were just talking. It wasn't, it was, she had a million things to do. And I said, if the longer I sit here, the longer you're going to talk to me, I have to go. So this way you could finish. And it was just the strangest thing. And then I came home and I just had just so many words I needed to use. and it was just, I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop.
So as you were doing that, I was viewing this energy, and it looked like flowing energy that was moving upward. And as I looked up, I noticed it was the legs of a being. Like it was just energy from the waist down, like a genie coming out of the lamp. Like it's just energy, and then the body, it's like from the waist up, it's a guy that's blue or something. Well, the energy on the way up, it became like a man body, and then it had claws and horns, but the horns were straight up. Like I was saying, like they just bend a little and then go straight. And he was like commanding me, I will do this to you. I will do, and you're talking, going, and he's like, I command this, and so I'm like, no, you don't. And he's like, no, I do. And I go, no, you don't. So it comes around me. I'm going to just be honest. They were what I thought were tentacles. It looked like his fingers grew and were like claw tips and injector tips or something, because he hit me right on the left side. He came up from behind me while I was looking at him. And I saw that there are things I have no control over that I cannot stop from happening. Like I say all the time, I could go toe to toe with reptilians and this, that, and the other thing. If one physically comes in the room and uses its thing on you, you might get screwed. Trust me. If it flicks you with your finger, you're going flying through the wall. But if it's trying to invade your space, you might be able to just push it out because, no, I'm too glorious. Get out. And you put up your
protections, my space.
So this thing's throwing commands at me like it's a command code, and then injects this claw thing into the side of my neck. Now, as that was occurring at that very moment, I was preparing cake. This is what I do. It's funny. I look directly at them while they're talking their nonsense, and I pull a cake out from behind my back like it's a cartoon. Now, I did that whole part, and he looked down at me. He kept wanting me to look on that angle, like that that angle up on, so he could look down upon me, and you could look up at me and be like, so I was like, this is some bullshit right here. So he injected me. And I threw the cake down. I said, no, you ain't getting cake. You just touched me. Now you're talking, and I get up and go in the other room and start choking.
Yeah.
Right? So you're just talking, and I start choking, and then I go in the other room. I spit up in the garbage pail. I feel like I pulled the thing out. It was pulsating, and it disconnected from him. I say him because it looked male. And he was telling me, you're done. Like, this is mine now. Like, he was going to take my girl, my property, my cats, my this, my that. Like, and I'm like, let me put this straight. There'll be no cake for you. I stuck a sword into your head, and you got up and walked in the other room like you were calm.
Yeah,
Remember,
I was. I felt much better.
In the other room.
Yeah, I felt better. I have to let the cat in.
And then I sat back down from I had just purged. I'm like, this is happening right now. And nah, you ain't beating nobody. This is my house. You don't come in here and I'm done with this kind. So I grew to his size and grabbed his horns. And he said, you'll never do it alone. And that's when I laughed. You weren't connected to this thing. It wasn't actually touching you. but you went and just like recovered or had to recover from it.
Yeah, I did.
And it came up on the left side of me and was standing in the doorway right here where I always say the portal is. And he's arguing with me. And I said, but you don't understand. I was shaking his head. I'm like, I'm going to walk you face first through the galactic portal and watch you get torn into shreds and laugh. You scumbag. I was going to cake you. It was going to feel nice. We were going to be friends and stuff. You know what you're getting? They're getting the worst. And here's the worst part. I'm not alone. Check it. Dragon tore him in half. He was still talking. And then beings came out and he was coming out of a portal low. And they're like, yo, you have to stop the portal or he'll just keep coming out like the genie in the lamp.
Yeah.
So they closed the portal. They've sent something down in there and it like shocked it and it closed. And then the lower half was put in a box and handed to me. And it was me doing it. It was like little versions of me, I think, because the dragon and all that other stuff, that's me doing that. When I say, hey, I got a raptor pack and I got this and that, that's me using my power of me and nature, of being the great all of the creator. I'm everything, so I can be anything. So I have all these things, you know? And I use them, and then the box was handed to me, and I had him by the horns, and I walked him face first, and I said, look, I got everything in here. And he's like, they'll find the box. They'll find it. You plant the box. They'll find it, and I'll be back. And I said, oh, no, you're not coming back. And I walked him into the sun, this galactic sun, and it transmuted, and as he was going, I threw the box in and watched it transmute. I said, no, nice, come back as a flower. Maybe you'll learn something. And then came back in here, and this house was clear. Yeah. I felt like the old lady from Poltergeist. I was like, this house is a clear and a clean. You're done. Next. I was handing out beatings to everyone. I felt like Oprah when she's like, you get a car, you get a car, you get a car. I'm like, you catch a slap, and you're getting a sword. That's it. And it was one of the most interesting things because, once again, still no psychedelic use.
No, not at all.
Nothing. Just my awareness level. First of all, I said that really ego-y.
No,
my
you
awareness has been higher.
Yeah.
I close my eyes.
Elevated, yeah.
I see way more.
Yeah.
Things come at me like balls of energy. Like balls of energy, Frank? Yes. Energy balls flying through the air.
In your face?
In your balls right in your face of energy flying in all directions. Are they blue? Well, not anymore, but yes. No. So that's how it appears to me. And then it's almost like you recognize the energy source. So when I close my eyes, I see Paula there, but she looks like a pulsating thing of energy that's just wherever she focuses. Like if she goes, oh, I love you. And if I close my eyes, I'll see the love come like hitting me. And I'll be like, oh, Paul's, and our connection to each other is it's like a thick rope cord, like kind of like, man, it's like a tube thing. So that lights up when we're sharing information.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
like a tether.
Right, but all our fearless family understand this. We go to that safe, sacred space together beyond the veil of illusion, right? Where no one could touch you. You can't do nothing. And then we connect and we build that same structure and connection to each other, which is why people like me, you, Chris, a bunch of the other hosts, other people in the Gnosis are coming out and talking about, everyone's talking about Anki at the same time. Chris talked about Anki, right? And then like 2 days later it came in to everybody's Gnosis.
Yes.
Shows started popping up,
Anki
everywhere. All right. I know. It went so fast. All right. I love you guys. Stick around. Paranormal's up next. Brent, love you. All right. This is FearLess. I'm Frank Castle. That's Paula Milo right there. And we're